Hi, kids. Welcome to Kids Corner. How's everybody doing today?
I'm blessed.
All right. Hi there, Joy. It's good to see you.
Howdy. It's good to see y'all too.
Hi, kids. I'm so glad you guys could all make it today to Sunday school. So first things first, we're going to go over our memory verse. Joy, are you ready?
Oh, yes, I am.
All right. So it's Galatians 3:29.
Galatians 3:29.
When you belong to Jesus,
When you belong to Jesus,
you get his promises of his family.
you get his promises of his family.
Good job, kids.
Y'all did great.
So far we learned about Deborah. Does anybody out there remember learning about Deborah?
Oh, Deb?
Yeah, Deb.
Wasn't she a judge?
She was.
And
She believed God.
yeah, she believed God.
She showed the Israelites the right way, and the Israelites doubted God back then, and she showed the Israelites the right way because she believed God. So now, kids, we're going to be in a new story, and this is some time later, and the Israelites, again, they forgot about God,
Oh, no.
and they didn't follow his instruction, and because of this, these really, really mean people was mean to them for 7 years.
When you don't listen to God, bad things happen.
That's right. That's right. So, to help you guys understand what we're learning, I'm going to do a little bit of explaining about it before we get into our story. So, Israelites, they disobeyed God, they didn't believe him, and they kind of just did what they wanted and didn't listen to God anymore. So, because of this, bad things happened. These really bad guys, they was mean to him for 7 years. And they cried out to the Lord. And guess what, kids? The Lord heard their cries, and he sent a prophet to talk to them. And what this prophet done, kids, he reminded the Israelites what God done for them.
What did God do for them?
Well, let's read it. It's in Judges 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. So, kids, this is the prophet that God sent to talk to the Israelites. Are you ready? And it came to pass when the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, that the Lord sent a prophet to the children of Israel, who said to them, "Thus says the Lord God of Israel, I brought you up from Egypt and brought you out of the house of bondage or slavery, and I delivered you out of the hand of the Egyptians." Remember, kids, Pharaoh?
Oh, Moses.
Moses, right. And out of the hand of all who oppressed you, and drove them out before you and gave you their land. Also I said to you, I am the Lord your God. Do not fear all those mean people in those lands you dwell, but you have not obeyed my voice. So this prophet, kids, he came to the Israelites, and God spoke through him to these Israelites. At first, he reminded them, Israelites, I'm the God that brought you out of Egypt, away from that mean king Pharaoh. And also, I'm the one that drove them out from you. But this is happening because you did not listen to my voice. So that's what the prophet said to them. And now that we know all this, we're going to read our story about Gideon. Are you ready, Joy?
Well, I'm ready, teacher.
Kids, get your beginner's Bibles. See?
I see it.
Open to page 140, Gideon's battle. Wow, kids, look at that. That's Gideon. Here we go. God's people kept disobeying his rules, so God allowed their enemies to take all their food away. Again, the Israelites turned to God for help, and again, God answered their prayers. Wow, kids, look at that. All the Israelites didn't listen to God, and they ran out of food, and these people was mean to them, so they cried out to God. So God chose a man named Gideon to help his people. God sent an angel to Gideon. This angel said, "You are a mighty warrior. God will save your people, and he will use you." God tells Gideon that you will save him, but really, kids, we know that it's God. Gideon said, "But I'm from a family that isn't rich or important." So, kids, this angel here came to Gideon. He said, "Gideon, God's going to use you to save all the Israelites." But Gideon really didn't believe it because he doubted himself. He didn't believe that he could do something like that. Then Gideon prayed to God. He said, I need a sign from you. I will put some wool on the floor. And tomorrow, if the wool is wet and the ground is dry, I will believe you. The next morning, the wool was wet and the ground was dry. Wow, kids. Gideon asked for a sign from God if he could believe him. And look, kids, sure enough, the wool was wet and the ground was all dry. Joy, do you see this?
Oh, well, yes, I do.
Wow.
Got to do something that's impossible.
Yes,
I can't do that.
me either. But Gideon wanted another sign. He said to God, now if the wool is dry and the ground is wet, I will be sure you have chosen me. And the next morning, God made the wool dry and the ground wet. Now Gideon was sure. He said, God, I will do whatever you say. Look, kids, God showed him the second sign he wanted, and now he believed him.
So I did it again?
Yeah, but this time the wool was dry and the ground was wet.
Can you do that, Hillary?
No, I can't. Only
Oh.
God can.
Only God.
He's all powerful. Over 30,000 men wanted to join Gideon's army. That is too many, God said. He showed Gideon how to win with only 300 men. And this plan sounded strange, but Gideon trusted God. Kids, can you imagine? They was going to go out to army and he had 30,000 people and God said, only take 300. That's like saying, like way less than what Gideon wanted, like barely any guys.
So it's like when you have a whole box of M&Ms and you only get half.
Right. During the night, Gideon and his men surrounded the enemy camp. They blew trumpets and smashed clay jars. They waved burning torches in the air. Their enemies were frightened. This must be a huge army, they thought. So they ran away and God's people won. So kids, what happened here is it looked like there was more of them and they got scared. So they won. Wow, kids, look, there's Gideon. Look how happy he is.
So God gave Gideon wisdom on what to do.
That's
Even
right.
with only just 300 men against that big giant army of the bad guys.
That's right. Gideon believed God. Kids, if we think about this, why did God only want 300 people with Gideon? Joy, do you know?
No.
Why would God tell Gideon to only bring 300 people? Why would God tell Gideon to only take half the box of M&Ms? Well, if we think about this, this tells us that they won only because of God. He helped them win the battle because there was more bad guys than good guys, but the good guys still won because there's nobody out there that's stronger than God, and there's nothing impossible with God. So God was telling us something here. God is telling us even when things look really bad and it looks like there's no other way, there is, because God is able to do anything. So that's why he only told him to take half the box of M&Ms to show that he is God and to help us believe him. That's pretty cool, huh, Joy?
That's a whole lot to think about.
That's a lot to think about.
So like when I go to school and there's some kids that's being mean, even though it's only one of me and 5 of them, God's with me.
That's right.
And he'll give me wisdom.
He will. And he'll make you feel better. He'll make sure that you get through it because God is able. Think about that, kids. Let's talk about that again. Gideon had a whole box of M&Ms. God told him only take half. Why? Because he showed that he is God. There was more bad guys than good guys, but the good guys still won because of God. So kids, we could believe God even when things look scary.
That's amazing.
It is. So let's make sure and think about that all week. That no matter how scary things look, think about the story of Gideon, kids. about how there was less of the good guys and more of the bad guys, but the good guys still won because God was on their side. And kids, we know that being a part of God's special family, we get all his promises. So just like Gideon is God's special family, so are we. So we could believe that this week, kids. So make sure you practice your memory verse. Let's say it again. Joy, are you ready?
Oh, wow. Yes, I am.
Galatians 3:29.
Galatians 3:29.
When you belong to Jesus,
When you belong to Jesus,
you get his promises of his family.
you get his promises of his family.
That's right. So kids, you are a part of God's special family. You get all his promises. So every morning when you wake up, remember to say thank you to God. So that's all for today, kids. We love you.
See y'all at Sing Along.
Stick around for sing along.
Stand up and clap now. With Gideon, might as well stand all night. We're standing strong, armed and ready. Our hearts are steady. There ain't no cowards here. We passed the test at the water, and we're out to slaughter. And the racketeer. We all Christians of warfare. Now Satan beware. We got the sword of truth. You drew a line, but we just crossed it. Though we're exhausted, we're in a hot pursuit. We got the spirit, we got the spirit of 300 men. That's what we feel. We got the spirit, we got the spirit of 300 men. That's what we feel. That's what we feel. Our eyes are fixed on a commander, and we build up our banners with consuming fire. The love that burns is so aggressive and so possessive. We'll take it back, what's ours. We are prisoners of warfare. Now Satan beware. We got a sword of truth. You drew a line, but we just crossed it. Now we're exhausted. We're in a hot pursuit. We got the spirit. We got the spirit of 300 men. That's what we feel. We got the spirit. We got the spirit of 300 men. That's what we feel. That's what we feel. We got the spirit. We got the spirit of 300 men. That's what we feel. We got the spirit.
All right. God bless you. See y'all next week.